You've had that moment, haven't you? That flash of impossible coincidence that feels less like chance and more like a message written just for you. A song on the radio that speaks directly to the thought in your head. A random encounter with the one person who holds the answer to a question you've been wrestling with for months. A recurring number, a symbol, an animal that seems to follow you, showing up in the most unlikely places. Your rational mind scrambles to dismiss it, to label it as a fluke, a trick of the mind, a simple coincidence. But a deeper part of you, a quieter, more ancient part, knows better. It feels the hum of meaning beneath the surface of reality. It recognizes the signature of a hidden order. In the next few minutes, the master psychologist Jung is going to give you the key to unlock this hidden language. He will give you the power to distinguish between a meaningless coincidence and a life-altering message from the deepest parts of your own psyche. You will gain the ability to see the invisible threads connecting your inner world to the outer world. And you'll soon know how to use these moments not as a source of confusion, but as a compass. A compass that can guide you back to the person you were always meant to be. Part 1. The universe is whispering. Let's get one thing straight. We are not talking about simple coincidences. You and a friend showing up to a party wearing the same shirt. That's a coincidence. It's funny. It's a little awkward. But it doesn't fundamentally shake your understanding of reality. It's a statistical probability. A glitch in the matrix, maybe. But it's not what we're here to talk about. We are talking about something else entirely. Something deeper. Something that feels intentional. Jung called it synchronicity. He defined it as a meaningful coincidence, where two or more events, which are not causally related, occur together in a way that is meaningful to the person experiencing them. The key word here is meaningful. The event in the outer world doesn't cause the feeling in your inner world, and your inner world doesn't cause the event. They just happen together in perfect and often unsettling harmony. Think about it. You're at a crossroads in your life, agonizing over whether to leave a soul-crushing job. You feel lost, confused, and utterly alone. You go for a walk, and as you're pleading with the universe for a sign, any sign, a truck drives by. And on the side of that truck, in huge, bold letters, is a single word: leap. Your heart stops. A chill runs down your spine. That is not a coincidence. That is a conversation. The universe just whispered in your ear. This is the essence of synchronicity. It's the experience of the outer world mirroring your inner world with breathtaking precision. It's a moment where the boundary between you and the universe seems to dissolve. But why does this happen? Is it magic? Is it a divine intervention? Jung had a different theory. He believed that the universe is not a cold, dead, mechanical place. He saw it as a living, breathing, interconnected system. And just as our bodies have a deep, unconscious intelligence that regulates our heartbeat and our breathing, Jung believed that the universe itself has a kind of consciousness, an underlying order. He called this the unus mundus, the one world. In this view, our individual psyche is not separate from the world. It is a part of it, a fractal of the whole. Therefore, what happens inside of us, our thoughts, our feelings, our struggles, our breakthroughs, is intimately connected to what happens outside of us. Synchronicity, then, is simply a moment where this hidden connection becomes visible. It's a tear in the fabric of ordinary reality, revealing the deeper, unified reality that lies beneath. It's a reminder that you are not a stranger in this world. You are a part of it, and it is a part of you. The universe is not indifferent to you. It is in constant dialogue with you. The only question is, are you listening? Part 2. The ego's interference. So, if the universe is constantly speaking to us, why don't we see these signs all the time? Why do these moments of synchronicity feel so rare, so fleeting? The answer is simple, and it is brutal. It's because of your ego. Your ego is the part of you that craves control. It needs the world to be predictable, logical, and rational. It needs to believe that it is the master of your life, the captain of your ship. And synchronicity is a direct threat to that belief. It's a wild card. It's a mystery. It's a reminder that there are forces at play that are far beyond the ego's comprehension and far beyond its control. Therefore, the ego has developed a powerful defense system to protect itself from the unsettling implications of a meaningful universe. Its first line of defense is dismissal. When a moment of synchronicity occurs, the ego immediately jumps in with a chorus of rationalizations. It's just a coincidence. You're just seeing what you want to see. You're reading too much into it. It will do anything to shrink the mystery back down to a manageable size, to file it away under random chance and move on. Because to admit that the universe might actually be speaking to you would be to admit that the ego is not in charge. And for the ego, that is a fate worse than death. But if dismissal doesn't work, if the synchronicity is too powerful, too undeniable to be ignored, the ego switches to its second line of defense, inflation. This is where the ego tries to co-opt the experience for its own gain. It starts to believe that it is special, that it is chosen, that the universe is sending these signs because it, the ego, is so important. You start seeing signs everywhere. Every song is a message. Every cloud is a symbol. You become the hero of your own cosmic movie. This is incredibly seductive. It feels good, but it is a trap. It is the ego hijacking a sacred experience and turning it into a tool for self-aggrandizement. True synchronicity doesn't make you feel special. It makes you feel connected. It humbles you. It reminds you that you are part of something vast and mysterious and beautiful. Ego-driven sign-seeking, on the other hand, just reinforces your sense of separation. It makes you the center of the universe, which is the loneliest place to be. And then there is the ego's most subtle and dangerous tactic, spiritual bypassing. This is where the ego uses the concept of synchronicity to avoid doing the hard, messy work of personal growth. You're in a toxic relationship, but you stay because you saw a pair of doves and decided it was a sign that you're meant to be together. You're avoiding a difficult conversation, but you tell yourself it's because the timing isn't right, pointing to some external event as justification. You use the magic of the universe as an excuse to remain passive, to stay stuck. This is the ego at its most cunning. It takes a concept that is meant to wake you up, and it uses it as a sleeping pill. It turns a call to action into an excuse for inaction. To truly engage with synchronicity, you must learn to see through these games of the ego. You must cultivate a state of open, curious, and humble awareness. You must be willing to sit with the mystery, without needing to explain it away or turn it into a story about how special you are. You must be willing to hear the message, even if it's not the message you want to hear. Because the universe is not here to flatter your ego. It's here to liberate your soul. Part 3. Learning the language of signs. So, how do you do it? How do you learn to listen to this subtle, symbolic language? How do you become a student of your own life, a detective of your own soul? It's not about buying a book of symbols or memorizing a list of meanings. It's about cultivating a new kind of relationship with reality, a relationship of deep listening, of radical honesty, and of courageous interpretation. There are 3 steps to this process. The first step is to simply observe. When a moment of synchronicity occurs, your first job is not to interpret it. It is to receive it, to let it land, to feel its impact. Resist the ego's urge to immediately figure it out, to label it, to put it in a box. Just notice. Notice the event itself. Notice the thought you were having right before it happened. Notice the feeling that arises in your body. Awe, fear, joy, discomfort. Write it down, not to analyze it, but to honor it, to treat it as a sacred event. By doing this, you are sending a message back to the universe, back to your own unconscious. You are saying, I am listening. The second step is to contextualize. Synchronicity rarely happens in a vacuum. It almost always appears during times of transition, of crisis, of intense inner questioning. Are you at a crossroads? Are you grieving a loss? Are you falling in love? Are you on the verge of a major breakthrough? The meaning of a symbol is not fixed. It is deeply personal, and it is deeply connected to the specific context of your life right now. A snake might mean one thing when you are feeling stuck and need to shed an old skin, and something entirely different when you are dealing with a deceptive person. You must become a student of your own life story. You must ask, given everything that is happening in my life right now, what might this be trying to tell me? The third and most crucial step is to engage with the symbol on an archetypal level. This is where Jung's work becomes so powerful. He understood that the unconscious speaks in the language of archetypes, universal, primordial patterns and images that are shared by all of humanity. The hero, the mother, the trickster, the sage. When you start to see recurring symbols, don't just think literally, think archetypally. If you keep seeing images of keys, for example, don't just think about physical keys. Ask yourself, what is a key archetypally? It's something that unlocks. It grants access. It reveals what is hidden. Then you can ask the real questions. What in my life needs to be unlocked? What door am I being invited to open? What hidden part of myself is ready to be revealed? But a word of warning. This work requires brutal honesty. The unconscious is not interested in making you comfortable. It is interested in making you whole. And sometimes, the message it sends is not a gentle confirmation, but a sharp and painful and necessary wake-up call. The symbol might be pointing to a wound you have been avoiding, a truth you have been denying, a shadow you have been repressing. It might be telling you that the path you are on, the path that feels so safe and certain, is actually a dead end. To truly interpret the language of signs, you must be willing to have your ego challenged. You must be willing to be wrong. You must be willing to be humbled. Because synchronicity is not a tool for confirming what you already know. It is a portal for discovering what you have not yet dared to see. Part 4. The path of individuation. You did not find this video by accident. The fact that you are here right now listening to these words is itself a form of synchronicity. It means that a deeper part of you is ready. Ready to stop living a life of random, meaningless events. Ready to start living a life of depth, of purpose, of conversation with the cosmos. This is not a small thing. This is a calling. Jung called it the path of individuation, the journey of becoming the unique, whole, and authentic individual you were born to be. And synchronicity is the primary way that the universe pushes you onto this path. It's the nudge, the whisper, the recurring dream, the impossible encounter. It's the way your soul, your deepest self, gets your attention. It's the way it says, hey, wake up, there's another way to live. But this path is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage. It requires you to let go of the life you have planned in order to make room for the life that is waiting for you. It requires you to trust the wisdom of your own soul, even when it leads you into the dark, into the unknown, into the places that your ego has told you are dangerous. Because the goal of individuation is not to become perfect, it is to become whole. And to become whole, you must embrace all of yourself, the light and the dark, the hero and the shadow, the known and the unknown. When synchronicity appears, it is a sign that you are on the threshold of a major internal shift. The old you is starting to die and the new you is starting to be born. It's a terrifying and exhilarating and sacred time. And you have a choice. You can ignore the call. You can go back to sleep. You can pretend that the impossible coincidence was just a coincidence. You can try to force your life back into the neat, predictable boxes that your ego has constructed. But you know, deep down, that it won't work. The soul is persistent, and when it wants to be heard, it will not be silenced. The whispers will become shouts. The nudges will become shoves. Life will keep turning up the volume until you have no choice but to listen. Or you can accept the invitation. You can step onto the path. You can follow the breadcrumbs of meaning that the universe is leaving for you. You can start the difficult and beautiful work of listening to your own life. You can ask the hard questions. What is my soul trying to tell me? What part of me have I abandoned? What is ready to be born? This is what synchronicity is for. It's not just a cool party trick. It's a tool for transformation. It's a map drawn in the language of symbols that leads you back to your own forgotten treasure. It's the moment when the universe leans in and whispers, "You are ready. It's time to come home." And so I ask you, are you ready? Have you experienced a moment of synchronicity that you simply cannot explain, but that changed everything for you? Share it in the comments. Your story might be the sign that someone else has been waiting for. Because this is how it works. We are all in this together. We are all walking each other home. And the journey that started here right now is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. Let's dive deeper into the ego's resistance. The dismissal tactic is the most common. It's the voice of your inner cynic, the one that's been conditioned by a purely materialistic worldview. It's the voice that says, "Don't be ridiculous. The world is random. You're just imposing meaning where there is none." This voice is powerful because it's the voice of the status quo. It's the voice that keeps you safe, small and predictable. It's the voice that ensures you never stray too far from the well-trodden path. But the cost of that safety is a life devoid of magic, of mystery, of meaning. It's a life lived in a black and white world, when the universe is screaming in technicolor. The inflation tactic is more seductive. It's the ego's attempt to turn a spiritual experience into a personal achievement. You're not just a person who had a meaningful coincidence. You're a prophet, a mystic, a chosen one. The ego loves this story. It's a story about being special, about being better than others. But it's a lonely story. It separates you from the very interconnectedness that synchronicity is trying to reveal. It turns a moment of cosmic communion into a moment of personal vanity. And it's a dangerous story, because it can lead to a profound spiritual arrogance, a belief that you have all the answers, that you are above the messy, complicated work of being human. And spiritual bypassing is the most insidious of all. It's the ego in sheep's clothing. It's the part of you that uses spiritual language to avoid emotional responsibility. You're afraid of commitment, so you tell yourself that the universe is telling you to be free. You're unwilling to do the hard work of building a career, so you say you're trusting the flow. You use the language of surrender to justify your own passivity. You use the concept of a meaningful universe as an excuse to live a meaningless life. This is the ego at its most cunning. It takes the most powerful tools for liberation and turns them into the most comfortable cages. To truly hear the whispers of the universe, you must become a warrior of the heart. You must be willing to challenge the cynicism of your own mind. You must be willing to see through the self-aggrandizing stories of your own ego. And you must be willing to take off the spiritual mask and do the real and often painful work of being a human being. It's not easy, but it's the only way to move from a life of random noise to a life of meaningful music.